Hello there guys, welcome back. We're gonna start to work on the weights painting of the character. First we need to bind the geometry to the skeleton structure. So what I normally do when I reach this stage is I normally create a quick set selection. So if you go here into create, you say set, and then you say create a set or a quick select set. What elements are we going to include in the quick select set is normally the joints that are going to be bound to the geometry. Why do I do that? Because normally I have found in the past that sometimes you are working on something, then you have to go back to fix something, and then it's always a good practice to have a quick select already established, that you don't have to go and select every single one of the joints and then go and then just do the smooth binding again. So it's a good practice to have everything already, in a sort of like a little set that you can just go and quickly select them, and then just select. It will pretty much save you time in the long run. So how do quick select work? So if I'm going here, I'm gonna go here into Windows, and I'm gonna say I think it's hierarchy, and I'm just gonna open it here, and I'm just gonna select the joints that I want to do. So I got the root here, which is this one. So we're gonna go and select all the joints that we think we're gonna be adding to the geometry, or they're gonna have some sort of influence on the geometry. So the master COG, we're not gonna select it because that's the one that we put at the beginning, just as a reference, so we can know where the origin is, so we can scale it later, or we can manipulate it inside Unreal if we want to. It's a good practice. You don't have to, but it's a good practice. So I'm gonna select the spine, because we're gonna select the spines. We're gonna select Shift, select the spine, all the spine here. The ribs, we are going to select the ribs because we're gonna paint weights of them. Ribs, the left and the right. We're gonna select the spine. We're gonna select the clavicle, the left shoulder, the elbow. All these guys are going to be selected. So that's all the fingers. Don't select the tips. That's not necessary because nothing pivots from the actual tail. So nothing rotates from the nails of a hand, for example. So we're going to select all these here. Not the tips, like I said. And I'm just going to select this. Scapula. We're going to select the scapula. We don't have to select the end because the scapula we can paint just the whole thing here, just in this area. So this one is just a good practice to know what's going on, but we don't. You didn't need to do that. So the neck, obviously, mid, base, the head is going to be painted because that's where everything is going to be attached to, whatever doesn't move. We don't need the head tip because it's nothing. It's just good practice, like I said. The jaw pivot definitely is going to be bound, so we can open the jaw, the mouth, the tip. Like I say again, there's nothing in there. So the eyes, we're not going to add the eyes because the eyes are left eye and right eye. They are going to normally use to bind this eye geometry to there, so you can move with the head. So the left ear we do need. Left eye aim, we definitely need that because that's the one that we're going to paint a little bit of influence in here in each corner. So when the character moves left to right or looks left to right, up and down, then you can see a little bit of movement around this area. So just to bring a little bit more of realism to the rig, and in a very easy way. So the eyelids, definitely those two gonna go. The right ear, not the eye like the other one said. The aim, definitely, and the eyes here. So that goes. Clavicle, all this stuff goes. All this stuff here. All this here, not the tip, and all that. And we go this one as well. The scapula, we don't need. We selected the right one and the left one, but not the end, like I said earlier, so you don't need that. Hip sways, definitely. All this goes. The toes, I think it's the right toes, is the tip here at the end. This one here, we don't need that. And the rest. So we got everything that we know is going to be added to the geometry or the smooth binding. Now, it's a good practice, like I would say, to create a quick select for this. So normally what I do with everything selected, I'm just going to go here into create, and I'm going to put set, and I just say quick select set. So I click here, and I just name my color bone or joins to bind, and I say okay. So now if I uncheck by any chance, for example, if you're doing some selecting and suddenly you forgot, or you click and then you just can't select it anymore continuously, so it's quick. You can just go back and say, okay, I'll quick select for that. So I'm just gonna go here into select, go into, thing is, what is it gone? around here? Yeah, quick select set. So it says join to bind. So you select that, you see how automatically everything goes there. If you want to, probably you can put it in the shelf if you want, but you put here and then you press Control Shift and click there. Now you got the joints here. So every time you can just click there and then you have it in the shelf if you want to. So we got that. Once you have that, then the next thing you need to do is shift select the skin and then go into, make sure you're in the rigging module, go back into skin and you say I think it's here, so go skin, everything keeps moving here inside my skeleton, the form, and we go here somewhere. You go, obviously it was here in skin, so we go bind skin. It used to be an entry, so smooth bind or rigid bind, and now it's smooth bind skin. So we go here into the options, and normally you're telling here what are the options you're gonna need for this. So I'm just gonna close this. So we need the join hierarchy. If you select this one, it means that everything is gonna be bound, but we didn't do that. We did a selective selection in this case, so things that we want and other things that we don't want to add. So join hierarchy, we say is the only one that selected join. The binding method, and normally put it here closest distance, and just keep it here in classic linear. This one's, I think this one doesn't work with Unreal, but this one works. But I think this one is just safe bet. I think it's just classic linear. So put it here in interactive. Normalize. Normalize weight means that later on when I explain what are weights, then you're gonna see that normalizing weight. I mean that the weights of, for example, this vertex will not be influenced more than 100% by any number of joints close by, based on this distance, closest distance method of binding. So in this case, just keep it interactive means that you cannot go higher, I think, than one with it, but you can go higher if you put in pose, but we don't want to do that. So weight distribution is a distance, so the distance is the weight. For example, these points here are going to be more influenced by this joint. As it go out from the joint, then it will have less and less influence. And then the maximal, I think, allow multiple bound poses. Uncheck that, you don't need that. And the maximum influence is the amount of joints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joints, that are going to influence any given point or any given vertex in the geometry. In this case is 5. I think 4 is a good number. 3, you put 3, only 3 joints can influence any vertex. So it's a good practice probably for maximums. Maintain maximum influences. The drop-off rate, this is like I think it's the multiplier of the power, how fast in this area, for example, how fast go for 100% and it drops down quicker. So if the number is bigger, then you're gonna see 100%, 75%, and 0%. If you go this number slower, there will be 100, 90, 80, 70, 80%. So the drop off will be more smooth. But this one, the higher I think the higher the number, the sharper is the transition between 100% to a 0% or no influence at all. And all you say is apply. Once you have that, you can see the geometry now. This entry here is being blocked. It means that all this is being unlocked, so you cannot move the geometry now. You can see now it's all locked. You can't move that because everything now is taken care of by the joints. So the joints are the one that are going to be taking care of moving everything, you see. So in this guys as well is there is an entry here for the skin cluster. So you cannot delete the history of this guy. If you delete the history of this guy, like history, you delete this and you lose everything. So this is an extra node as well that is being added to the, I think this node, I think, keeps the original position of all the geometry, all the vertex originally. All the settings that we did earlier, we can go into the attribute editor and we can still, if you look for that node here in skin, you can still change those settings here if you want to. But just to let you know, but normally you don't have to, so you don't need to do any of that. So the moment, obviously, this is like the default binding of the geometry. So I'm gonna just stop you right here, guys, and then in the next section we're gonna start seeing how to start painting weights, because he has his own techniques, and then I'll show you my the tips that I normally use when I'm painting weight for a character very easily. I think this one will probably take a couple of hours or something just to paint. Right, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.